Hi everyone, my name is Vaishali and this is the CareGena podcast. Here I am today with Abhishek, who is a scientist at the National Institute of Drug Abuse.
Hello.
Thank you for being here today. So, my first question is, what specific goals and aspirations drive the work you engage in?
Hmm. Being a scientist, always setting up a goal can be challenging because I feel like setting up a goal restricts your thinking capability. But definitely, I prefer to set up a time limit for myself for any specific kind of job, but not the specific goal. Like, for example, minoxidil, everyone knows about.
Mhm.
Initially, that drug was developed for hypertension, but if the goal was just to develop a drug for hypertension, then we would never come to know about its effect that it can help regenerate hairs, right? So, similarly, in this field of science, sometimes restricting yourself to goals, sometimes the failures really help you to learn more than a success. So, it's really important to not set up your goal, like not in terms of what you achieve, but what is what impact you want to create. That is the more important thing. And what was your second question following this? Aspiration, right?
Yeah.
So being a scientist, one of the biggest aspiration that drives me is ability to create a positive impact on the society. If I can be some help to my society, it is worth doing research for. Like currently, what I see is like I work, as you said, like I work on National Institute on Drug Abuse, and this institute is located in the Maryland, and Maryland is now the hub for drug addiction.
Mhm.
So, if my work can really help these new generation, this Gen Z's kid, not to get addictive towards those medicines that are available, I would say medicine, not drugs available, then it will be really worth the effort.
Mhm.
Because I would say.
Definitely. So, I guess like another question I had was, prescribed drugs versus I guess psychedelic drugs. Why do you think teenagers especially get involved in those things? And how can we prevent it? Do you have any safety measures that you would suggest?
I think one of the biggest thing that new generation kids, like not new generation, even any college teens like I have gone through, is peer pressure.
Hmm.
Peer pressure is one of the most thing, like people try to become or think that if they don't smoke, they won't look cool.
Hmm.
That is the biggest, like if they don't, if you are in a party, if you're in a club with a friend, if you don't drink, right, you cannot interact with other people. Like I think that peer pressure is what later on becomes an addictive thing. Like once you start smoking and then with the friends you continue this because you want to look cool with them, you want to hang out with one of the most coolest person in your class, so you end up becoming addictive to something.
Hmm.
Like it can be drugs, it can be alcohol, it can be cigarettes or anything, even coffee. Hello.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I lost you at I think peer pressure can be addictive. Yeah.
Not peer pressure. I'm not telling that peer pressure can be addictive. It is like the thought that in order to, if other people, those are most popular in the class, if you have to, hello, if you have, am I breaking?
A little bit, but I think it's fine. Yeah.
It's fine.
You,
Okay.
yeah, you can continue.
So the thing is that under peer, I'm not telling that peer pressure is addictive. I'm telling that under peer pressure, in order to be cool, in order to
Yeah.
mix up with one of the most coolest kids in the class.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes people end up being or starting using something that they have
Mhm.
not done in the past. And apart from that, like think about it, like you are at home till 12th grade with your parents, under your parents' supervision. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden you are free. You want to do everything. You want to try everything. Like we
Mhm.
have gone through that phase. But sometimes people they don't know their limitation, where to stop. That's what becomes a problem. It's fine to try everything, right? But at what cost? It should not cost your health. It should not cost your mental health. It should not make you addictive to anything. That's what should be the major focus of.
Definitely. And I think like a main cause, like I also do research in mental health as well. And stress in the academic environment and as you mentioned, social influences. Um, I think, some better ways to cope with that would be probably like meditating or just finding to like something like that you can be busy with. Personally, I like dancing or something, it keeps your mind off of, social influences and especially social media and like avoiding risky behaviors.
Hmm.
So, yeah, for anyone watching this, it's not it's okay if you're not cool, you're like 17 or 16 and you have an entire life in front of you. So,
And even talking with people, like majority of young generation that I see, they are not very open, even to their parents, to their siblings, to their best friends. Like I think the best way would be to open up yourself.
yeah, definitely. And as a Gen Z myself, um, I think for me, I've just been raised where I kind of just love talking to people and um I have no shame in like that. I love talking to like aunties and uncles and like everyone. So I feel like, instead of stigmatizing everyone or like, that she's a nerd or she's so energetic or like I don't know, like in high school especially there's like all these labels people put on each other
Mhm.
and that's what creates this like anxiety to fit in. But I think once you realize you step out of your like comfort zone, it's like you're out there and you can do whatever you want once you put your mind to it.
Right? You have to be sensible enough to understand that these things are nothing.
Hmm.
Eventually, it will pass by.
Definitely. Could you share a deeply personal or impactful story that inspired your involvement in this work?
Hmm. I think there's, I don't want to take any people name, but if you think about drug abuse, right, it's happening everywhere. Like
Hmm.
people are getting addictive to many things, right?
Hmm.
And due to that, there are domestic violence happening all across the world,
Definitely.
right? Not only to the adults, people are violent even against kids. I have seen like under the influence of drugs, these people try to harm the new generation's kids, their family members, and eventually they end up losing everything by the
Hmm.
time they realize like what mistake they have done. Right.
Hmm.
So I think this is happening everywhere, like in your house. I'm not talking about any specific, but you can see that these kind of activities are all across the world. So such kind of activities that I have seen few times, and that's what motivates me or to create some impact in the society by my work that can help to make this society more positive, I would say.
Hmm. Sounds good. When reflecting on your work, what are some of the most formidable challenges you've encountered and how have you navigated?
Hmm. Being a scientist, there are challenges everywhere in each and every step. Sometimes the reaction is not working. Sometimes the molecule you targeted for, it didn't give you a results that you were expecting. you have not met the goals and deadlines. So I would say that this is what you go to college for, right? Along with getting study, along with your knowledge, you are going college to train yourself how, hello,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're going to college how to overcome these difficulties in your life, in your for your future aspects, not only professionally, but also in your personal life, right? So college does not only give you a degree, it also trains you for your future personal and professional life. So
Hmm.
in generally, like sometimes it if something is not working, I take a break from something for like and shift my gear to other project, right? So this way, then I can think about it, what might be going wrong or how things might be happening that I'm not seeing at present. But
Hmm.
sometime all of a sudden it clicks you. Okay, so rather than being frustrated and working on the project that is not working at a time, it's not worth for my health because I am burning more calories. I'm losing more neurons, and I am shooting my blood pressure. So creating a mental health problem, having not going out with families because I'm frustrated with my project. So those things should not happen. So it's better I switch to other project, and when I have a new perspective, I can switch back to this project and see how it helps. Because sometimes for me, like taking a short break from that project really helped me to get a new ideas. And I think it's very important to take small break if your project is not working.
Hmm. Definitely, yeah. And I think, especially as, future scientists and engineers, I commonly heard that design thinking process is very useful, for experiments and especially when designing like certain prototypes or new devices or even, just coordinating a research study. So do you have any advice for that?
It is always good to plan your work ahead, I would say, right?
Hmm.
So many people they start with a plan that okay, today I want to do this. But this is science. You cannot predict what will happen in your next step,
Hmm.
right? So I think you should also be ready for it if you cannot plan ahead for something or whatever you have planned, if it does not work. I think in science there have been many cases where you learn from your failures rather than learning from your success.
Hmm. Definitely. What novel approaches has your work embraced to confront complex issues or adversities?
My novel works. So let me give you one of the most recent example that so during pandemic, right? Uh, Everyone was repurposing a drug,
Hmm.
right? Because they wanted to get a drug that can be very quickly out in the market, but that was of no use, right? Because majority of drugs was failing, and people were repurposing majority of synthetic drugs, not the
Hmm.
natural compound. So my one of the papers for the first time showed that there are natural compounds that are available in our Mother Earth that can help to target this COVID viruses. And yeah, that was one of the most impactful work that I am very proud of
Wow.
doing during pandemic. So
Yes.
for the first time to the world, we show that natural compound can cure, or at least it's worth this compound can go to a clinical trial.
Wow. Wonderful. And I've also heard like for drug abuse, right? Um, people kind of resort to Ayurvedic, I guess medicine, um, to, instead of dealing with prescriptions, they go to Ayurveda for like stress management and like other, I guess, mental or physical illnesses. So, what are your thoughts on Ayurveda?
Ayurveda is a very effective thing, but I think nowadays people are in a hurry. Everyone is in very much hurry, right?
Definitely.
And Ayurveda medicines sometimes they take time, like German homeopathy medicines.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they are not very instantaneous like this English medicines are, like the compounds that we work on. So
Hmm.
these drugs, I think, for the stress and all, majority of the problem that is I'm seeing is people are switching to this treatment once they start suffering it, like meditation, Ayurveda. I think we should make such kind of things like meditation and yoga a part of life so that you don't have to go for a long treatment like Ayurveda and all those things. Or even take some, there are Ayurveda medicines that can help to regenerate your neurons and all those things. If there are such things, I think people should start taking some natural products rather than that is prescribed in Ayurveda.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Um, so drawing from your own journey, what invaluable insights or pearls of wisdom would you impart to individuals embarking on similar paths in research?
In research, okay, that's a nice question. So, one philosophy that I have grown up with. Suppose, Vaishali, you buy an iPhone. Is it possible that next day you can break it?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Suppose you buy a car. Is it possible that next day you can lose it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're going to UC, University of California, right? Is it possible that whatever you learn today, you can lose it tomorrow?
Yeah.
No. That's you. It's with you. Whatever you have learned, it's with you until unless you have some mental condition, right?
I guess, yeah. But you can
Right?
forget it, right? Like everything.
Until unless you have any mental illness,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
right? So whatever you are learning in this process, no one can steal it or you can never lose it until unless something really bad happened with you, right? So I would say
Mhm.
like consider education such jewelry in your life that will always stay with you, right? It will never leave you. So I think everyone should acquire such property and keep acquiring it throughout their life
Mhm.
that they can never lose it and they can be proud of. So it has not to do anything with the research or something because whenever we do research, we are acquiring knowledge every day. That is helping us, right? And this knowledge, when applied with your real life experiences, becomes really invaluable.
Mhm.
And I would say that cherish your gem so that it's always with you rather than running towards some artificial properties that you can lose any day, any day.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think this can correlate to, how people kind of chase other people for relationships, and they tend to sacrifice their own careers and academic journeys for maybe their girlfriend or boyfriend. And I feel like, you know, just you shouldn't really have to sacrifice anything. Because if you have a plan for your life, as per your career, then your partner should be able to support it, right? So, um, I think, yeah, following education is the right way. And, um, it's okay if you don't get into top universities at first, right? So for me, actually, I didn't really expect that I would get into UC. I was doing really bad in math, personally, in high school. So it's kind of quite a surprise, and you never know, if you keep doing the work, um, you know? there are magical things that can happen. So I think perseverance is a big skill that I've learned, and I hope to continue it as I am a pre-med student. So um, yeah.
Like, I don't think so, like Vaishali, that your marks says your knowledge, right?
Mhm.
Because when I was in eighth grade, I loved chemistry, but I
Mhm.
didn't score good in chemistry. Like eighth, ninth, I didn't score good. It was the 10th when I started picking up science really well. So when I go to my school and tell that, oh, I have done my PhD in chemistry, they were like, whoa,
Wow.
we never thought that you would do a PhD in chemistry, because it might be at that time I was not scoring well,
Mhm.
but I like that subject.
Yeah.
So here I am.
Wow.
So some people
Congrats.
get demotivated for like if you cannot get into a good school or something, like knowledge is same everywhere. And in
Definitely.
today's generation, it's out there on internet everywhere. Whatever you want to learn, you can browse it and learn it by yourself. Just the thing is that you have to be motivated enough to learn by yourself. Like
Yeah.
I
Oh,
have,
yes.
I have seen like Sundar Pichai. He didn't do his bachelor's from a very good Ivy League schools,
Yeah.
right? But still, he is Sundar Pichai, right?
Yeah.
Because of his knowledge, not for his college degree. So that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to tell you that time. Like consider college as a part of journey where you're going to learn new things. Apart from your education, you're going to learn how to survive in this world.
Mhm.
Yeah, not only professionally but also personally. And it's a very good learning phase which never comes back, especially for the undergrads.
Definitely. And I think, especially as undergrads, they see teenagers in the USA who are dealing with, all the stress. They see parenting has always been, oh, bio, engineering, and like, oh, let's get you in the best school. So I think an important skill that I've learned is just to ignore everything like around you and just focus on your own goals. My passion was trying to promote social work, as podcasts and my nonprofit. So I think once you find your ideal like spark, you should continue to do it till you're the best at it. And I think that's what really helps you distinguish yourself from the others, right? So it doesn't matter if you're not good at coding and you want to do a CS major, like you mentioned, right? Or if you're like not good at chemistry, but then you want to be a chemistry major. So I feel like the the society is kind of like running, and there's always time to develop yourself into the ideal person you want to be. So yeah,
Okay. Sometimes what happens, Vaishali, is that like you were talking about Desi parents, like they want you to be bios, doctors, and engineers only, right?
yeah,
So think about it when they were born and back in India, right? I think your father might have seen internet in his college days. Before that,
yeah,
I don't think so. Internet was easily accessible, right?
yeah.
So back in days, like employ people with engineers and biological backgrounds were employed well, right?
Hmm.
And that's what they have learned from the society, like engineers and medical peoples. And there's no doubt that engineers and medical people are doing really well in their life. They are well settled. Like not all of them, I would say, but yeah, majority of them. Like so, there is probability of you not being successful. Success, and every person has their own definition of successful, is less because if you are a doctor, right, you will have good name in the society. People will respect you. You will have good bank balance. You will have everything, and I think that's what the parents want for you, not
Hmm.
for themselves. So I think sometimes it's difficult for the young generation to step into their parents' shoes and try to understand what they are trying to do because I have gone through the same phase at that time. I want to do something else. But and it's not always like one of my friends. He wanted to do some college degree from somewhere where it would cost him 10 times more what he would have paid if he would have done same degree from in-state college, right? And his
Mm-hmm.
parents were not very rich enough. So his parents took a decision that you should do a degree from this college, right? And they both are equally good, just that
Mm-hmm.
out of state and this in-state. So he was really frustrated, he was really mad, but by the time he graduated, he realized that majority of his batchmates have a bank loan on their head,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And they have to get out, get a job, and start paying that. But due to the less fees, his parents could pay that off, and he could take 1 year of gap to establish his own business at that time. Because if he had a loan on his head, he wouldn't. He, so think about if he would have done that degree from out of state college, he would have ended up getting a job, right? And doing which he never wanted to do, right? Or it would have taken him more time. So at that time, his parents took a good decision, but he was really mad at them.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we young generation kids lack some amount of judgment because we are over, not we, your generation. I'm past that generation. Your generation is overcrowded with data, which you don't
Yeah.
want to see. Like what you are going to do. One day there was a news that someone just drove a car over their own pet. What I'm going to do with that information because that's making me sad, right? If I read that part in the newspaper, that makes me really, really sad that how can a human being do such a cruel work, right? But that is happening in the society, but that is ruining the positivity of my day, right? So I would say that it's good, always good to listen to others. But you guys are more exposed to internet. You guys have more options than that generation, when only doctors, engineers, and scientists and lawyers were only respected in the society. Now, whatever job you do, you are well respected. But for the parents' generation, the Desi parents' generation, they have never seen that if you are not any of these four, you are not being respected in the society then. So I think what they want from you is show them that whatever you do, there you have good life. You will be happy, and I think they will be happy with that. To seeing that, I think the discussion, that open, friendly discussion, is missing. Like you being stubborn. Oh no, I don't want to become an engineer. And your father being stubborn. Oh no, you have to become an engineer. At least try to show him that what you want to become and why you want to become and what are the future prospects of those things. So the communication that can
Mm-hmm.
like help to bridge this generation gap. And just think about it like, yeah, this generation gap is more for us because your father and my father was grown in country like India, which was really, really very poor at that time. And the parents, your American friends whose parents were born and brought up over here, would be more exposed to technology and those things during their teenage than your father. So I think so that's why I think there's a little bit of generation gap that I see between uh, Desi kids and Desi parents that are growing much.
Yeah.
But I think if you guys can show your parents that this line is very successful, like it's not always necessary to become a single picture. Like there are other companies where where a Desi kid can become a CEO. Like in pharma company, also a Desi kid can become a CEO. It's not that you have to become a CEO in IT company.
Definitely, yeah. And I think, as you mentioned, social media, it's best if you figure out how you want to utilize social media because it can be very addictive. So, either having a plan for like a few minutes per day, or maybe, joining like social networking sites like LinkedIn or like Twitter or something. But also just restraining it to just like specific motivational people that can inspire you to learn about their journeys or kind of like new ideas that are bouncing off the world. Because personally, I use LinkedIn for just learning about new ideas and, just, instead of being bored at home, you get entire world at your hands. So, yeah, I totally agree. But making sure how to utilize your resources is very important.
Right? But I think like even like as a teenager, sometimes it is really difficult to understand this,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because I have also gone through this same phase, and at that time, like it's experience. Once you don't learn until unless you experience it. So I really think teenagers should have their own journey. This is my philosophy, and I think it will look as a philosophy right now to them, until unless they they have their own kids and they start thinking about it. Okay, do I have to secure his future, or just I want him to do whatever he wants and not have a proper house on his head, not have a proper bread on his plate. So I think every parent will want their kids to have a best house, to have a best food, right, which they earn,
Yeah, definitely.
right? So that's what they want, to have a good life.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for advice for, Gen Z and, younger students who want to pursue a career in research.
So thank you so much, and like thank you for having me over here, and it's lovely to interact with Gen Zs like you.